really hasn't been dominating the yellow armors here, but he's been making it really difficult for Ziel to get anywhere near Mega Health. Red armor, as always, is a bit of I dare you to item. One that ZeRo4 has been able to capitalize a few times already. But actually, this kind of waiting game that ZeRo4 is playing, he's playing it a lot slower. It's actually allowing Ziel to come in and get some rails off that he wouldn't otherwise. He's still holding on very strongly to Mega Health. Ziel still isn't willing to come in close range top tier for a Mega Health play. But that was probably one that he could have ventured. Let me take a look at his stack. It's actually not bad. It's going to get worse, though, the more he dilly-dallies at red armor. Yeah, 3 rails in a row. That is going to be ZeRo4 taking together the lead, 3 on 2. And now Ziel, as a fresh spawn, is really risking a lot of the spawn rate that this map can generate. So we're almost halfway through, and this is obviously a much closer match than T4 was. Again, unchallenged Mega Health. To be fair, Ziel had red armor coming up at nearly the exact same time, but ZeRo4 had such an opportunity to slam 3 rails into him. Ziel's, again, A to B is a little bit slower than you would expect with ZeRo4 being tied on the items like this. But I like that about this map. I like the maps where one of the items isn't an immediate, oh, I'm going to go get this. Sometimes, even if you're the player in control, even if you're the player in the lead with the better stack, you don't always aggress red armor here. Oh, beautiful rocket, but Ziel was able to turn it back in, well, in turn, to turn a phrase. Oh, and a near telefrag. Oh, where's the clutch rail? Ziel's like, come on, just fucking die. And it turns into a mutual frag suicide. So 4-3, taking out the cartridge, blowing on it, and pushing the reset button. That's going to mean that the stacks are going to be up for grabs either way. Mega Health is going to be the big thing to play for, and Ziel had the right idea. Do damage mid-map way before Mega comes up to make sure that ZeRo4 is more concerned about getting health than the Mega Health. And so that's a free Mega for Ziel, finally. ZeRo4 taking one more rocket in the noggin, recovering to yellow armor. But without the 50 health there, that's not quite the recovery side of the map that it needs to be for him. He's only up by a single frag. Nice. Nice play through the teleporter. But that teleporter still leaves you in the fight. You're not on the other side of the map, which is one thing I really love about toxicity. Nice rail. ZeRo4's rails have taken a bit of a dip, though, however. Only 40%. 10 out of 26, yeah. A bit of rocket spam from Ziel on the yellow armor corner. Not a bad play at all, and good unretaliated damage. Unretaliated. God help me. Unretaliated. God. Unresponded to damage. Shit. But there we have it. ZeRo4 finally biting his teeth back in, but he's very weak now. And this is like the 3rd lap he's had to make to the 50 health in yellow armor, which is just, you know, a spot of attrition for him right now. When it comes down to it, whose shaft will be bigger? Well, Ziel doesn't care about shaft when he's got rail on his side. But that still means that Ziel will be relatively weak, and ZeRo4 fresh off the spawn will have all the gall needed to take that red armor. Oh my god, and there's a free Mega Health. So if ZeRo4 can get this next yellow, it's going to be a fight. Ziel definitely wants to keep that out of his enemy's hands, because he knows all he has right now is that Mega. But that still put ZeRo4 in a position where he could decide whether to move in for yellow or not. And if he didn't, then he would have high ground, and he would have that advantage. But that'll tie it back up 5-5. 7 minutes, 35 seconds knocked off. Just 2.5 left to go. And at this point, I can proudly say that it's any man's game. There we go. Ziel trading a rail for a little bit of MG. Definitely a fair trade. But the rockets nearly take him out. A beautiful play, and actually Ziel leaving up that Mega that long, that ended up being his salvation. ZeRo4's timing was just a little bit off there, and Ziel was still able to recover and grab a Mega. Not exactly enough to give him a 200 stack, but enough to put him back in the ring for sure. Ziel currently in the lead, 1 frag up. 10 seconds to red. And every red is risky on toxicity, but this one more so. Ziel's got the right position to decide, though. He's not going to be coerced into a fight on red, but he is going to miss an opportunity for damage. Miss an opportunity for rail as well. Oh, and there's a rocket right in his noggin. Yellow armor taken away, and at this point, it is the yellow armors that are splitting the hairs between these guys. Our rocket's not quite hitting for Ziel. We're coming up on the final minute, and Ziel's still up a single frag. This is don't need to choke territory. A very nice rail through the corner, leaving Ziel with 72 health. He's railable. In fact, he's rocketable, and that'll tie it back up 6-6, just over the 9th minute mark. ZeRo4 actually taking a little bit of damage on Mega, but nothing more than the token rocket. Ooh. ZeRo4 getting that yellow armor. I'm not quite sure how. Oh, shit. Okay, that was choke. That was. There's nothing up on the board. Maybe he didn't know timing for red, but there's so much he could have been doing as far as damaging ZeRo4 on the yellow armor. Just didn't happen, and the worst part is he didn't really have anywhere else to be except trying to play Counter-Strike behind the crates. So that'll be ZeRo4 up by 1. Make that 2, 15 seconds left, and that might be the end of Ziel, at least on toxicity. But, guys, this being a best-of-5 series, we're going to be seeing one more map at the end of this. So don't go anywhere. Like, really, don't leave. We'll have to hire armed guards, and those are expensive on our budget. Every time I think about my audience, I think about Clockwork Orange, which is probably unhealthy, but hey, fuck it. Come on, Fluke, don't let me down. Oh, yes, we do have some arrow walk. Potentially the third, well, definitely the third, but potentially the final map tonight between Ziel and ZeRo4. We've come full circle, A to Z. Now Z on Z. And these guys are ready to fight. At least that's what big friendly announcer man says. All right, ZeRo4 versus Ziel. Going to be following ZeRo4, getting out of the gate with rocket launcher. That'll give him initial bid over red armor with no real retaliation from Ziel. Now, Ziel should have that first railgun, yet he made no time lost as far as getting that grab. And again, in Quake Live, it's enormously difficult to hold on to the railgun for any length of time. You play Arrow Walk in Quake 2, and it's all about railgun control. But Ziel is definitely making the railgun spawn a bit of a trap. ZeRo4's finally got one, but look at how much damage he ended up taking. Red armor's up, mega health coming up, but ZeRo4 really needs to wait for this yellow armor. And by the time yellow armor comes back up, he could be dangerously out of position for the larger items. There it is. So Ziel up by 1. He needs to win this map to stay in the series. Oh. And that is definitely a great start. But now, actually, Ziel being knocked down to about 130 health, he was actually the one to back off to the rear side of the map. Which is cool and all because, you know, yellow armor, but on the other hand, he really gave up a lot of position there. That was a bit of a flip that Ziel gave away, maybe without a fight. Very nice rockets, though. If anything will make the difference, it'll be those rockets. We have red armor coming back up, but even so, ZeRo4 cannot prevent Ziel from getting a rail, and so far Ziel's been making good use of it. So 50 health, cool. Red armor, cool. Railguns, even cooler. 3-1. And we're not even into the second minute. This could be it for Ziel. Nice. A bit of a delay on that fight. It'll be keeping Ziel on his toes a bit longer, but it'll mean that ZeRo4 won't have as much to work with after all. So it still comes down to just raw damage. Yes, ZeRo4 still has a stack advantage, but that'll be going away with yellow armor. Oh, wow, that rocket will be turning things right back around. And now Ziel really needs to pie this corner carefully. Needs to, oh, okay, that was careful, granted, but now ZeRo4 is starting to get some momentum going, and that's dangerous whenever you're talking about this guy. You can see Ziel trying to back up the stairs. Like, shit, don't want to be in this fight. There we go, a good prediction shot with Rail, but it's not going to keep ZeRo4 from aggressing and continuing his assault in an effort to control every armor on the board. And with that green, he essentially has that for the next, 20 seconds or so. Unless Ziel can put a fight up here at red armor. There we have it. 9 health for ZeRo4. And Ziel is doing exactly what he needs to do, really just doing the damage. And, well, you know, this is Arrow Walk. The damage is going to be dealt whether you do it or not. Rail float. Actually, I want a root beer float. That sounds amazing. Yum. 6-5. Off in another world. Ziel only down by a single frag. And up against ZeRo4, that is no small task. But, okay. I was looking for the rail shots a little bit earlier from Ziel there. And missing any rails at this point is going to be absolutely deadly. Because ZeRo4 already has a strong stack. Mega's going to be up. And Ziel, he doesn't have enough health now. He delayed there long enough to where he didn't have enough health. Oh my god, but he can come in, going for the dive, come back out with more health than he started with, and knock off a ton of ZeRo4's stack. Now he's still weak, but let's be fair, so is Z4, especially after that rail. One more will knock him down, and I don't believe the 50 health is available in the red armor room. Ziel is banking on that, but ZeRo4's rail's just defensive enough to keep Ziel thinking otherwise. So that'll tie it back up. Ziel doesn't really have a lot of health to be confident with, though. And at this point in time, there isn't really a lot to recover to. What the hell was that? Beautiful is what it was. Ziel's obviously been watching a lot of ZeRo4 demos. Maybe that's why ZeRo4 has been playing a lot of hub lately. Everybody's been watching my hub demos. This isn't good. But Ziel currently up by a single frag. We're almost at the halfway point. Top of the map. Ziel has some good positional advantage. And with most of the items being gone off the board, Ziel has the ability to really decide where the next fight is going to happen. He can stay up top here for Mega, or he can drop down in an all-out risky maneuver. And that is very risky indeed, as he's dropped down to 100 health, no armor. Yellow armor won't be available, neither will green, which means that he needs to make this fight happen at red. Completely defenseless, but he came out on top of that with a beautiful rail. Beautiful pair of rails, and now that yellow armor is up, he's going to be back in the win for this. ZeRo4 obviously thought, okay, I've taken a couple rails. I cannot allow this armor to go to my opponent. Otherwise, I'll kind of be up shit creek without a panel. As it is, ZeRo4 is getting in the defensive damage a little bit late, and that lateness could cost ZeRo4 at red armor. He's being very careful about it. Oop. Careful with those rockets. And there's the rail. All right, so that'll be Ziel up one more time. And it couldn't have been at a better time. There's still a lot of... There's still a lot of time before red armor comes back up, but with the free mega health on the end of that frag, Ziel should be able to set himself up. But ZeRo4 anticipating a move to control, or rather attempt to control Railgun, flooding the top catwalk with grenades. Ziel's got to think twice now. Red armor's going to be taken away almost flawlessly. That last rail will be getting the damage in, and Ziel cannot retaliate at the crucial moment before mega health. No damage done whatsoever. Okay, there we go. Impressive. Ziel's forte here has really been sticking out his neck when he shouldn't be. That's where he's been dealing the most of his damage. But it's not going to be a far cry to have ZeRo4 just have one frag where he can get both items and then womp, stomp, and thwomp his way around. And that's what ZeRo4 is going for, but Ziel's doing enough damage to keep him on his toes. Not that it leaves Ziel with a lot to work with. And that's actually one of the problems I'm seeing with ZeRo4 right now, if I can be so bold to say. He's not paying enough attention to just taking down Ziel when he's weak. And Ziel's making a big front about being stronger than he really is. But if ZeRo4, you know, concentrated a little less on the item timing and a little bit more on just getting the hits in, then he'd be able to close his gap no problem. But, you know, Still 2 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of time for that to happen. Of course, the crazy conspiracy nut in me says that ZeRo4 wants more than 3 maps.